Welcome to the Holding Priority Podcast, the Magic the Gathering CEDH podcast. I'm Cardboard Cryptid.
I'm the Game of Ghost.
This is kind of a special episode. This is episode 52, so it means we've been doing it for 2 years. So this will be our 2-year anniversary episode.
Heck yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, usually like even with like small businesses or podcasts, like if you've stuck with it for 2 years, that's a sign that you're pretty much either going to like stick with it for a while. You know, I think most businesses after they're open for 2 years stay open at like a 60 to 75% or something like that. Like the first 2 years is like where you figure everything out and like get your momentum going. So I thought it would be cool to do a 2-year special. Going forward, we might do like either mini episodes or, you know, once we set up our Patreon, like Patreon specific anniversary episodes. But I thought this one would be kind of cool to reflect on like just CEDH over the last 2 years.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that it's been 2 years since the podcast, maybe 3 or 4 since we started playing CEDH.
No, because I remember we were giving out business cards for the podcast with like one of the first people we ever played CEDH with. And we were giving it out at the shop we don't go to anymore. It was like we were giving them out right at MagicCon, but we had only set it up. We hadn't actually done any episodes yet.
So how many years are you since we've been playing?
Well, I've only been here for 3 years.
So then, yeah, 3.
But like we weren't playing CEDH. We didn't do tournaments for quite a while.
I mean, we were getting close. We were moving towards CEDH pretty quickly.
I mean, we've probably played like entered tournaments for like the last 2.5 years. I mean, we could probably find out on Top Deck.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
I think you're right with that. I think going into Commander is kind of more what I was talking about.
Oh yeah. Like Commander itself, the moment I moved here. So
yeah.
Let's go into the shuffle up. I didn't test this beforehand. Will it work? Not too bad. Not too bad.
I was excited for it not to.
Mm-hmm. If you are on our YouTube, we did quite a lot of stuff. So we put out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I had a lot of things I wanted to work on. If you guys saw a lot of notifications, I'm sorry. But I had wanted to put out, after I went undefeated in our little mini tournament on Dina, I got 2 wins, 2 ties. I wanted to put out a CDH primer for her because everybody was really receptive to the deck. Since then, I've also done another tournament. That tournament was in a bigger town and a little bit sweatier, and I did pretty well there, which I was happy to see. Might take her to the boil. I don't know. Like I'm just having fun playing her. She's way more fun than Raka. Mm-hmm. But I put out a CDH primer on YouTube. If you follow me on Moxfield, I also linked that in the primer section so that you guys can see it. If you don't follow me on Moxfield and you just want to see what we're working on, if you go to the YouTube video, Dina Soul Steeper CDH primer, Moxfield will be there, and also a link to the tournament will be there if you want to see the other stuff. And then after I went undefeated, I felt like I should kind of spoil myself with a signed Dina. So I got an artist proof of Dina with a special like green like tea mist signature from the artist. It was like $50 with shipping too, which was really cool.
It is a beautiful card.
Yeah. It was funny because I played it this weekend. Ghost wasn't at the tournament, but everybody was like, "Oh yeah, you know, that's a cool card." And then whenever I would keep it under the normal Dina that I had, so I'd give everybody the one that they could read, and then I had the Japanese Dina that I pulled from Strixhaven packs on top. And then whenever I was ready to combo off, I'd be like, pull out the signed Dina, put it on the field, and everybody'd be like, "Ooh!" And I was just like, "All right, I'm gonna attempt now."
That's when things are getting serious.
Yeah, when the signed Dina comes out, I'm gonna try.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with the deck. As you have seen on the YouTube. But yeah, if you guys have post notifications on. You saw that we posted like 3 different things last week. So sorry. On the Arse Proof short, Wizard Whimsy says, nice, that looks really cool. Thank you. Dina Soul Steeper CDH Primer. Hazard Man TV says, blood for the Bean Queen. Clever Impersonators, close friend of the channel. They said, love it. Man, they uploaded like a draft night and it had amazing production value. Like, I thought I was watching one of the like huge creators at first, and I was like, wait, I know those guys. I see those guys.
Kind of fun fact, I need to reach out to those guys and have them sign my Clever Impersonator card.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
If you guys want to see like a really cool draft night video, they're friends of the channel, the Clever Impersonators. AJ Meal 13 says, I don't play CDH, but I love Dina. This video randomly popped up. Saw Dina, had to click. Seems really cool. If I ever get into it, I will surely build something similar. Learning all the different lines is great. Budget Pub Stomper literally made a video about Dina the week before I put one out. And like another person that like comments a lot on the channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was like, they watched my video and then they were like, I literally just made a video on this. And I watched it and I was like, how do we both think about Dina in the same week? Yeah. Budget Pub Somper says, you have a lot of cuts that sound like they make sense. I love this deck. I just covered her on my channel literally a few days ago. Allow me to make a recommendation. Pattern of Rebirth. The thing I love about Dina is how she's one card win cons. The deck and the patterns is one of them. Namaste, homie. Great video. And then that is pretty much it. So if you guys commented over the last 3 videos on YouTube, thank you very much. If you are listening to the podcast, just please remember to set us to auto download. Helps a lot. If you've been listening to the channel, I'm gonna remind you guys again, if you could give us highest rating possible, 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcast. It really helps out. I've seen a couple of you guys go and fill them out, and I've been watching the I'm a big data nerd, so I've been watching the data, and pretty much every time we get a good review, we have like a 20% bump that week in our viewership. So it helps a lot. Thank you guys for all you do. Let's get into, and then also if you guys want to support us directly, we do have a Ko-Fi. If you send a little bit of money, I can promise it'll just go back into cards.
Of course.
If not cards, tournament entries. And also something to grow the channel. We've come a long way in the last 2 years, just kind of reflecting, like, we have really good mics. If you go back and listen to the first episode, we film in the middle of my kitchen. You could tell we film in the middle of my kitchen. Now you can't really tell. There can be a thunderstorm outside and you don't even hear it on the mic. So that was really nice. We got really nice stands so that they're right next to our mouths. We got the Stream Deck that lets us plug in sounds. And then just recently, we also had a very special contributor contribute enough for us to get a start of podcast and end of podcast song. If that's you, you know who you are.
We still love you.
Yeah. If you're in the Discord, I might have something a little bit special planned. When it happens, I'll put in the Discord. But if you guys are a fan of just hearing people rant about CDH or talking about your spell table games or playing spell table, it's been a little bit hard to get the spell table games in regularly recently, but we do throw them in from time to time. I do tournament play-by-plays. So like this weekend, I went to a tournament. Every round, I uploaded a picture, told you guys like how I placed, and if I had like something, if I had time between the matches and I like, punted the game or had a really cool win, I usually put it in. Usually that stuff will go over, but we've been going to so many tournaments that our tournament recaps, we've had to be kind of selective on what we go over, which is good. I mean, we're going to the Boil, and about a week, 2 weeks, depending on when you guys listen to this. So that would be fun. This is probably going to be a rant episode just because it's two years of fun times.
Oh man, when we start talking about decks, it's gonna be pretty.
Yeah, I was about
pretty
to
crazy.
say, I was just like, this is going to be a rant episode. If you guys are here for, CDH skills or card reviews, and you skip this episode, it won't hurt my feelings. If you like to hear us rant, though, good.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're also going to go over kind of why we went into some of our decks too, because I didn't realize that my streamline on decks was really influenced by the outside of what was going on.
Yeah.
Um,
One more thing. No one requested the ball pit special episode, so I'm not going to put it up. Shame on you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Please. Please. We had quite a bit on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that was all. That's all I had.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I'm going to try to, I think like more of the history of like CDH over the 2 years would be the most interesting. But we had a lot of external influence. I mean, the fact that we're into CDH is because when we were playing, people would be like, "You guys are too good at building decks. Don't sit at my table."
Yeah, definitely out of the casual mindset very quickly.
Yeah.
I know that at least me when I started, I kind of built whatever I had on hand, and then once I started playing quite a bit, I noticed that there was specific cards that were really good,
Yeah.
like your fast manas and stuff like that, and then you start leaning into your free spells and such.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am more competitive than the average casual player, I guess, and it separated us pretty quickly at our local game shop.
Yeah, I mean, one of the people that we still play with to this day, I remember sitting down. You had Sheoldred. We started in Dominaria, the one that had Sheoldred in it, and like we had opened a box between us, and you had been wanting Sheoldred, and I pulled it, and I was like, this is yours. Like build the deck. But it was mono black Sheoldred on you. They were on not Yawgmoth, but the 3-cost black card that whenever they were playing mono black Hugs from Dominaria.
Grixis? No.
I don't remember. It's the 3-cost Praetor that whenever somebody deals combat damage to opponent, they may lose a life and draw a card.
I think it's Gix.
Yeah.
I'm not 100, but
they were playing that, and they played a Mana Crypt turn 1. And that's banned now, Mana Vault. No, Mana Crypt is the one that's 0. Yeah. So they played a 0 cost, and I was like, you just have 2 mana that you have a 0 cost Soul Ring. They're like, well, it's fair because like you flip a coin and I could take 3 damage. I was like, so for over 10 turns, if you lose every single flip, you still have 10 life. and like, I think that kind of like put the CDH mindset in me, because I was like, how much is that card? And I looked it up, and at the time it was like almost $200. And I was just like, it's worth it though.
yeah.
And like, I think that was like my first ever just gleam of like, I want these expensive cards. Like, this is awesome. And I know like some people, they would see that and be like, oh, you just paid for a win. And I'm like, not wrong. But also like at the same time, I was like, that's really cool. I really like it. And I was playing, you were playing Sheoldred at the time.
Yeah.
And your whole thing was black wheel effects, which was like really cool. And then you had that one card that it's like kissed by serpents or something like that, where if you were playing a Typal deck and they had like 100 elves out, you'd just be like, you get to draw your entire deck. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I used that on somebody that was using the dragon that copies itself.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they were like, all right, I'm gonna create 1 billion dragons. I was like, okay,
Cool.
and he's like, I'm gonna go to combat. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll kill you now.
Yeah.
He was like, oh.
Man, there's it like I will say that's the one thing I like about CDH and dislike is there's like a very specific card pool for it. But like when we start talking about like when we played casual, I'm just like I cannot keep all of these cards in my head. But I'll like talk to some of the people that like are in our group that do play casual and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, blah 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 blah." I was like, "How do you remember all these cards?" But
No, yeah.
I remember you had Teferi's puzzle box that was like really confusing to everybody because you'd have to explain it every time you played it. And then one of the first like CEDH cards that you played with was Peer into the Abyss. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I specifically remember because I was playing Kibo. I specifically remember that I could deflecting swat it to myself. So I was like, I gotta pull a deflecting swat. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's Peer into the Abyss and Shieldred was a one-shot kill to one player.
Yeah.
Or it was draw all my deck
Yeah.
and gain a bunch of life and then play whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
So it just depended.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, you were playing Shieldred, so that was just like card draw value, kill people. I was playing Kibo Utabi Prince, which he's the only Magic card that you can see him being conceived.
Oh.
Yeah, there is like an orangutan. I think it might have been like Utabi, but in the background you see two monkeys that are kind of in a precarious pose, and everybody would always joke that's like, oh yeah, you know, those monkeys are doing the birds and the bees for the family friendly
This is I've never heard this.
Oh man, yeah. So I'm not gonna say that was one of the reasons I played it. I thought it was cool to have a monkey. And then right when we were getting into it, the Jumpstart set came out and Kibo came out, and there is a special foil that I got from like one of the shops that was like a special art. So I thought that was cool. And he basically puts out banana tokens, but there are no banana tokens, so I had to make my own. Like I watercolored my own and I made like 5 of them to give them out at the table. And I was just like I just really liked the deck because it was like monkey and banana themed, but it was artifact shutdown, destroy tribal basically. So it was like ape and monkey typal and lock down your artifacts and wipe the field of artifacts. So people weren't too happy playing against it, but I'd be like, monkey, banana, and people were like, I don't want your bananas. I was like, you literally cannot refuse the banana. Like,
It's like, well, I'm gonna use them.
Yeah.
Nope, you can't.
yeah, like it's gonna sit there till I decide to wipe all of the artifacts off the field. That was my first deck that had Collector Oof, and it was not my last. But I remember I liked that deck enough to where I had a couple of like casual decks that were like suited for casual play. And I remember I ordered custom sleeves and I got like a vintage Godzilla, or not Godzilla, King Kong poster. And then on the bottom, I put in text, ape together strong. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, people kind of got upset about it because they couldn't use their artifacts, and at the time there was a lot of Voltron players. They were like, well, I can't put any of my equipments on, or like, you just destroy all my equipments, like this sucks, this isn't fair. And then people were even complaining about your shoulder deck too, where it's like, oh, that card's like $90, that's not fair. Like,
As soon as I played it, it would be like, oh man, we're done. And it's
Yeah.
like it does two damage.
Yeah.
Like I haven't even put anything else out yet.
and then these were people that were like running Force of Will in their deck, and you know, like playing
Yeah.
Derevi. Like,
Derevi with a tabernacle.
yeah,
I was like, what is going on here?
yeah.
No, and then after Shieldred, I think I just went like waist deep into CEDH
Yeah.
commanders.
I think you made Kennen right away. I remember
Yeah.
we were doing a lot of 1v1s at the time to test decks because like we'd go to the shops, but we didn't know a whole bunch of people. So to test them out, like we pretty much would have to 1v1. And I remember every time you brought out Kennen, I'd be like, I have to play Light Paws. Like literally that's the only thing that can keep up with it 1v1. And even so, like it was miserable to play against.
Sorry about all that.
Oh yeah, I think my response to that was I built a mono red Bergie Storm with Grinning Ingus combos with Impact Tremors. That was a lot of fun. I remember I played a Blood Moon. This was like my first time with like how the layers work, like enjoying like how the stack and like how the rules worked. But one of my favorite Urza Saga had just came out because it was around MH2. Like we had just missed MH2, I believe. But a lot of people were running Urza Saga, and I would try to rush to get a Blood Moon, and I'd play the Blood Moon. And back then, they've changed it since Final Fantasy, but back then when you played Blood Moon, Urza's Saga would actually just sacrifice because it didn't have any lore counters on it anymore. So it would no longer be a saga, and because it was no longer a saga, it would see that on the layers and immediately sacrifice. So you wouldn't even get the mountain. Urza's Saga would just be gone. And they changed it because like it was one of those things where I'd tell people and they'd be like, that's not how it works. And I'd be like, yeah, get on your phone. That's how it works. So like, I'm glad they changed it. But I remember like that was one of my first complicated rules thing. And I mean, Bergie was fun. It was a bunch of, one cost cantrips where it would be like play red, draw a card. I'd like play Overmaster, get a red from Bergie, draw a card, play another cantrip, get a red from Bergie, draw a card. And I would try to draw into like Helm of the Host or like Ruby Medallion or stuff like that. And then like it was my first combo deck where I was like, oh, if I draw these two cards and I have Bergie on the field, I just win, and I had a lot of fun with that. Mono red is pretty tough, and there's not enough things that you can really build out with it. So I played it for a while, and we didn't have like dual lands, or I don't even think we had the full shock land cycle. We did not have the full sack land cycle.
I was gonna say that my Kinnan was very as casual as a Kinnan could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I had Mana Crypt for a while.
No, I mean, you didn't have Mox. I remember when you bought Mox Diamond.
I do too, yeah. It was, I remember checking my account and being like, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
Like, and went and purchased it. And then when I did, it was kind of surreal because I was like, this card is awesome.
Yeah. No, I remember it was so much money because you bought it physically at one of the shops that we would go to, and that it's cool because that shop was like just kind of in somebody's house, and like it was out in the middle of nowhere. And now that shop is like in a strip mall, giant. Like they do a lot of single sales, which is so really cool to see like people that we kind of started out with like move up in the world too. But I still have a picture because I took a picture of the card with the sleeve that had the price on it, and it still shows up on my digital frame. So I'll like, just be kind of like watching YouTube and I'll see it on the digital frame and I'm just like, quite a deal.
Yeah. I mean, at that time, CEDH wasn't as big.
Yeah.
I mean, it blew up just in the last year or so.
Yeah. I remember because I wanted to play a CEDH deck and I was like kind of looking into things. And I really liked the idea of Najila. I didn't really like the art. So like I made my own custom Najila because I was like, I want more of like an anime like waifu, and like I didn't like the tokens that she made because they're like sand warriors. So I made my own like custom tokens and like actually made proxies of them and had them come in. And I remember I was nervous, and like this is gonna sound weird, but I was nervous about it because I was working at a pretty nice like project manager job at the time. But I loaded up my cart with all of the shock lands and all of the fetch lands, like the entire cycle. So I think it was 20 lands. And I remember looking at my cart and seeing those 20 lands and being like, oh man, this is a $400 order. Like I feel sick to my stomach. And I remember I like checked out, hit the checkout button, and I was just like, I need to get up out of my computer. Like I just spent $400 on 20 cards. And like, I remember, I was getting ready for an event that we found that was 4 hours away. And it's one of the places that like, they have this thing called the scrimmage. I believe it was the first one that they ever did, and they're up to like 8 or 9 now. And we've gone to every single one except one, and we only missed one because we were at MagicCon. But I remember we went, and like our area was mostly casual at the time, and I brought Najila no dual lands, only shock lands, and I was like, I've got 40 life. You know, that was that 10 lands, that's 20 life. I'll have 20 life left over. Like, that's not a big deal. And I went and I kind of pulled like a casual mulligan, and I was like, yeah, I've got a land and a dork. I think this will work. And immediately somebody did the Glinthorn combo, like turn 2 or 3, and I was just like, oh. Like in Talladega Nights, whenever the main guy, he gets back in the car after like having his wreck, and he's just like, what are those cars, they're going so fast. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I could literally see that scene in my head. And we were like, I remember we were overwhelmed because like everybody was like pushing out like a win on turn like 2 or 3 at this tournament, and like, you know, little old me with Najila and Shocklands, I was just like, oh, I'm getting beat. I'm not used to this. I'm used to winning.
Yeah, it was very humbling because I think that the local tournament the local shop we went to had a tournament for a Taiga.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And I was playing Kennen, and the shop wanted to be inclusive to everybody. So instead of having 3 pods, they would do like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So with Kennen, if you've ever played it, like many CEDH decks, the more players you have, the worse the deck is.
Yeah.
There is decks that are better the more people you have.
Yeah.
Much like Atali and Tivit was my next play.
So we built those. Yeah.
So I remember talking to the store owner, and I was like, man, look, like, you're handicapping me in my deck. And he was like, well, if you're how do you put it?
Oh, I remember that exact conversation. Yeah.
He was like, well, you need to build a better deck.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't. Yeah. This tournament doesn't need to have, I don't need to sit at a table and play with, 7 or 8 people. That's crazy.
And yeah, it was for a dual land too, and a lot of people came out. I think there was like 30 people. And I remember specifically, you were, I'm not going to say heated, but like you definitely had an air of annoyance to you. So I felt like the shop owner was like specifically shutting you down because they were like, well, they're just salty they didn't win or something like that. And I remember also when you had left, talking to them, and I was like, this is a 4-player game. Like, you know, it's not balanced for 4 people because, you know, Ristic Study exists, but like the precons are meant to be played with 4 people. Like, that's how the game is supposed to be played. We can't have these like, you know, 5 to 6 player 3-hour games in a tournament. And I remember they pulled up the Magic website where they used to sell, like, not sell the precons, but like you would see the precon, and you would go to find a local retailer, and you could put in your area code, and it would show you like the shops that were there, and it would also link you to like Best Buy and Amazon and stuff like that. And I remember them pulling it up and pointing at the description, and the description says ages 13 and up, players 3 to 5. And I remember them pointing at it and be like, says 3 to 5, big. That's what we do. And I was like, that's not what you guys do. You guys do 3 to 6 or 7, you know, like, yeah. And like on a local night, like local game night, you know, whatever. But like, I didn't expect them to do that on a tournament night. And it was messed up.
I mean, I set at a pod, and I said 8, but I believe it was 6 when I was playing.
I think they did limit it to 6 in the tournament, but 6 in a tournament is wild. Yeah. Like,
so after he told me that, I was like, I'll build a better deck. I got you. Yeah. So I built Tivit.
And I built Atali.
And needless to say, Tivit was just at the local shop.
Yeah.
Would just tear it up.
Yeah. And we had played at that tournament in that was 4 hours away, and I think you had brought Kinnan to that one, and I brought Najila, and it was like very clear the level of competition out there was like not like I remember we came back and we were like they went in 3 to 4 turns, guys, and everybody was like, what, and I was like, yeah, it's wild out there. So like we had come back with that mindset of like we need to win by turn, we need to push by turn 3 or 4
or 5 and have stack.
Yeah, or we need to have enough interaction to stop a Thassa combo on somebody's gonna Thassa combo on turn 2 or 3, you know. Yeah, but yeah, and then we did that tournament, and our local tournament was just so messed up. So you built Tivit, and I built a Tali, and I think that was our first real like Najila is a real CDH deck, but like I'm not smart enough to play 5 color. So
well, at that tournament I did take Tivit. That's why I went, because I remember playing Blue Farm, not for the first time, because I think we played a friend that had a.
Wait, so you brought Tivit to
The
that
first one.
4-hour tournament?
Yeah.
I thought you said Kinnan earlier.
I had Kinnan,
but you played Tivit
at that tournament.
Yeah,
because I had
Tivit was kind of slow back then. I mean, it still is, but yeah.
But it had a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
I think I topped 16 at that tournament.
I don't remember.
I believe so.
I just remember just being like, this was crazy. I was not prepared. Like
I remember top 16ing, and I couldn't get further than that because there was a lot better players there. But also, I didn't have all of the bells and whistles of the top CDH decks. So.
Yeah. I remembered us completely striking out, but I can look.
I was pretty sure I hit 16.
Okay, so this was January 6th, 2024. I was 21st of 26. I won 1, lost 4. Let's see where you were at. Yeah, you okay, so it was a smaller tournament. You got 14th with 6 points.
Yeah, I was up there.
Yeah.
I lost the first one immediately.
Yeah, I forgot. So this was back when every single tournament, no matter how many people showed up, you did top 16.
Yeah. I remember doing fairly well. I remember being like, I'm not the best, which is
they didn't have deck lists back then.
No, but it was crazy.
Yeah, January 6th, 2024. So we just hit our 2-ish year of CDH. Yeah.
Now, shout outs to being able to do that, because that's very cool to look back that far and see all of your tournaments you've played.
Yeah. No, I literally was like, I think I can bring this up.
It took you like a minute.
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
Top Deck is a really nice, like I know that there's been complaints about Top Deck for multiple things, but man, I've done Spice Rack tournaments.
Spice is so bad.
Yeah, I've done no system tournaments. They just put up a screen and they were like, all right, move to table 4. And you had to watch like the thing scroll. Yeah, that was crazy. And so just kind of reflecting, since I have it up, we've done 31 tournaments over 2 years. So when do you think we did our next tournament?
I want to say it was pretty close.
Yeah. So January 6th, we did the skirmish, and it was 4 hours north of where we are. January 14th, so the next weekend, we went 4 hours to the east, and we did another one in a different state that next weekend. And
that was our first Louisiana one.
Yeah, and that's the one that we took 2 of our people to. So all 4 of us rolled in. And I remember specifically being like, this will be really nice because it'll kind of like, not really humble, but like everybody was just like, oh yeah, like tournaments aren't that sweaty. And I was like, no, we need to bring more of our local scene into the tournaments. Yeah, so we did the Crips and Salsa regional 1K, and my second tournament ever, got second place.
I remember I don't think I struck out, but I think I was only in the top. Like, I don't even think I topped. I don't even think I topped
I can
60.
check that out. To me, I didn't think so. I remember I had Najila for that first one, and I was like, "There's no way I can play this." And apparently, I put Timna Kodama together in a week, and then top two'd and walked away with $500. And like that was, I mean, how lucky am I to play 2 tournaments, and in my second tournament ever, get second place and walk away with like $500. uh You were 14th, so you
Well, I
you
did
still
top. That's right. I must have cut. I didn't make it in because I got
yeah
cut out. But
yeah. So you were. Oh wait. No. I was looking at the wrong one.
maybe it was the second one.
So how many people were at this one? So there were 39 people at this one, and you got 24th.
24.
You still got a win. But I was in the semifinals, and it was funny because me and then one of our friends got to the semifinals, and it started a long held tradition of seeing my friends in my pod at the semifinals. But I remember they were playing Kinnan, and I was playing Artifact Shutdown with Tim Nikodama, and one of their first lands was a treasure vault. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Oof. Because I remember my turn 1 was the angel that gets bigger and has flying and
Sarah
lifelink.
Ascendant.
Yeah, my turn 1 was Sarah Ascendant. Turn 2 was Oof, and then there was a Yuriko. And I just went, okay, everybody else is shut off but the Yuriko, so I'm going to swing an 8 cost fly, or like 8 flyer over at them. And they were like, I feel like you're targeting me. And I just went, I am. Take 8. And I ended up killing them with just the Sarah's Ascendant.
That's awesome.
Because they couldn't kill me fast enough with Yuriko triggers. Because I was gaining 8 every time. Or maybe it was 6.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember I walked away with $500 that night. And that's the night that we it iced over and we got to the top of the bridge, and then all the 18-wheelers started to like fall down, and we got stuck on that bridge for 3 hours, and we had to take it's a 4-hour drive there, but we had to take a 2-hour detour to even get home that night. And I think we got home at like 4 a.m.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember after not making, I didn't make the top cut because I started rebuilding Tivit
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And I took out most of the stacks pieces and went more streamlined to wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that may have been one of the last Tivit tournaments I played before switching.
Yeah.
But
It's wild to kind of look back at this. Like so yeah, we had that big cool, like, I got second place and walked away with like a couple $100, and I immediately took that money and I was like, I'm buying as many CDH cards as possible. And like it paid off, because like all of those cards are worth like so much more now, because that was before anybody got into CDH. But it's kind of crazy. So like I remember we had the opportunity to play a tournament every 2 months pretty much.
yeah.
And we would like really look forward to it. Like we would sit there and kind of like refresh on Top Deck to see like where we could go to tournaments. And I'd find one and I'd be like, ooh, the skirmish is coming up. And we went January, and like we went to every one that we could. Like we would drive up to 4 hours to go. January, then we didn't get to play again until the end of March. And then we didn't get to play again until May. And then we didn't get to play again until August. And then August, we had 3 in a row. It was Dallas, our local shop, Dallas.
Oh, it was Kilgore, Dallas local shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean,
It's close enough.
Yeah, it was Dallas, local shop, Kilgore. And then we didn't play again until November, local shop. And then we didn't play again until January, which was College Station. So like we had basically, like, how like TV shows, they'll go on summer break and then they won't come back until August. So we had a dry spot of May all the way to August. So I think that's what, four months.
About 3.
Yeah, three or 4 months, and like literally like nothing showed up. Like if it showed up, we would pounce on it as long as it was in like within 4 hours. So yeah, I remember we were driving a bunch just to get to opportunity to like practice at those higher levels. And now we're spoiled. Like we had 3 events in a row that we could attend, and between us, we've done the last 3 weeks of tournaments. And there's a huge tournament in Dallas next weekend that's hosted on Spice Rack. And you're not going to that one because it literally like it happens every year, but like they didn't put the posting out. And then I'm not going because I already signed up for a non-magic convention that weekend too. But we could have gone to 4 weeks straight of tournaments, but we're still going to the Boil on the 28th.
Well,
So,
I
like,
remember watching the Boil
yeah,
and being like, "Oh man, look, there's this person. We played them a
Yeah.
couple of times, and this person is
Yeah.
there too. Look, I see him in the background." And then now it's like, well, we're going.
yeah.
Um,
And yeah, and I remember like I was working at home at the time, and I was a basically like a point of contact. So like I wouldn't be busy 100% of the time, but I would have to be literally like at my computer because if anybody hit me up for anything, I had to respond really quickly. So it was kind of weird because I was literally just sitting and staring at my laptop for like 8 hours a day. So I made I didn't want them tracking like what I was doing on my work laptop. So I put my actual home, because I worked from home, I put my home computer on that. I made a desk that was double the length of a desk. And I put my home computer right next to my work computer so that I could watch stuff on my home computer, but still be available for point of contact stuff.
mm,
But I was like watching like, you know, command nights and all that stuff. And like, I was just like, well, why are the command nights not at tournaments? Like, I thought they were good. So like that. And then I started to like get into actual CDH content with, play to win. They don't really do it as much, but was it MTG, Mugsta, the Goblin guy,
mm.
playing with power. I would watch a bunch.
Playing with power for sure.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
we did for a while.
Yeah, that was cool. They've kind of all of those. It's weird because like more people have moved into like CDH hybrid content where they'll do like CDH and then like casual games. Play to win has like stayed very steady the entire time. Yeah, it was crazy. Kind of going back to the decks. So you built Tivit and you were on Tivit for a while.
Yeah, and then I played Tivit to kind of show our local shop.
Yeah.
Took it to a bunch of tournaments, and I'm still kind of known for Tivit. Like
Yeah.
there's we have a few friends in other cities, and they'll be like, "Are you bringing Tivit?"
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"No, I'm not doing Tivit." But they're like, "This is probably one of the best Tivit players I've ever
Yeah, yeah.
seen." And it's like, well, I'm probably the only Tivit player you
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Because there's only so many. But no,
Pivot win lines are just so cool though. Like it's complicated and like yeah, you can have a win and then get struck out because you go to time, which sucks. But
it's really the time thing that stops me the
Yeah.
most from playing Tivit. I don't want to play something that's
it's a late game deck and also you
It's
go into infinite
handicapped.
terms at time. Yeah,
However, I remember we were getting ready for a huge tournament,
yeah. TCG Con
and it was big. Like
Yeah.
we knew it was going to be big. We knew we were going to like
over 100 people. Yeah,
we were like gonna. I think we stayed out there. Maybe
no.
we didn't. We drove.
Oh,
back?
we did, yeah, because it was a 2-day, and I was like, let's spoil ourselves, let's stay out here, because it was like a big convention too.
Yeah, and we were like,
And we
well,
brought all of our local group to that one. That one was fun. Yeah,
it was cool because I had been talking to you and I was like, well, man, I could add an extra color and just play this new deck that I've been
Yeah.
looking at, Tim Necrom.
yeah, and not been looking at playing against because we had a friend that had been into CDH longer than we had, and they had chromed out like their entire deck. And we were playing with them at the time, and it was funny because you'd be playing Tivit, and I'd just see your eyes dart over to the blue farm player, and you'd be like, "Man, I want that. Like, give me that."
And I had ordered the cards, and I was like, I don't think that I'm gonna get them in.
Yeah,
And the day before, I got like every card that I needed in.
yeah.
And I remember sitting at the table the night before, and,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna build it.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's probably not a good idea.
You had played with our friend's deck at least once or twice.
You were like, I don't think that's a good idea
Yeah.
to do the night before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna do it, man. Like, why not?
And I remember, so I had put together a Tali, but I was still high on Tim Nikodama. And I mean, I still am. I really liked that deck because, like, it was weird because it was a Stacks deck. And, like, Stacks at the time, I'm not even going to say Stacks was good at the time, but, like, Stacks was one of those things where it was like, if you got people that understood why you were playing Stacks at the table, you'd do pretty well. Like, it was a really good meta buster. But if I lost my first round and I got put in the lower tables, everybody'd be like, well, I don't like that card. I'm going to remove it. It's like, so you're going to remove it and pass? They'd be like, yeah. I'm like, you're literally just freeing up somebody else. They're like, yeah, but I don't like that. I can't use my artifacts. And it's like, okay, well, you're just literally going to remove it and then pass and someone else is going to win. They're like, yeah, but I don't like that card. And I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they'd pass, and the next person would be like, well, now that I have my artifacts back, Thassa combo. And I'd be like, I literally just told you that was going to happen.
It's like, oh man, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. And then, of course, I think I got like a win, and I had done well enough to go to day 2, and you were at day 2 as well.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of our friends had struck out. But of course, at a 112 person tournament, my friend that I was in the finals with at the tournament that I got second at was in my pod, and it was the last round of the day. And I remember just looking at him, and there was Dragon across from us, and then there was someone that was way ahead of the curve. They were playing Rogthras, like way before all those good cards came out for it. And it was like a weird, it wasn't really like a polymorph list. It was kind of like a guy's cradle list, but it was weird. But I remember they had played a card that was like, if there's 3 creatures, if each opponent has, Dragon had played, if there's each opponent has 3 creatures on the field, on your upkeep it sacks, and you just get to pull any creature you want out of your deck. I think it was like Druid's Oath. And then the Rogthras player went, well, I have to play my creatures. I have Guy's Cradle, and put 4 creatures out. And I was like, you're literally going to pass to Dragon that's just going to pull their combo to the field,
Yeah.
And that person ended up becoming like one of our friends too, which, like, down the line is kind of funny to think of. But it was one of the Houston players that I saw last weekend. So,
Oh yeah.
and then I looked at my friend and I was just like, I don't really like teaming up with you guys, but like one of us needs to win, because there's an Dragon that just brought their casual deck, and like they were kicking our butt with their casual deck. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but they were like, yeah, I just brought my casual deck. I thought it would be fun. I was like, what's $100 entry? They're like, yeah, I just thought it would be fun. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, they're gonna just start pulling dragons out of their deck for free. One of us needs to win. And they were like, yeah, let's work together. And we were like working together, and I was like, we need to remove those 4 creatures. And they were like, well, you're not going to like it, but I have a Cyclone. I top decked a Cyclonic Rift. I was just like, yeah, I can help you get that through.
Yeah.
And they Cyc Rift, and it needed to happen. And they didn't win that turn, but they ended up winning eventually after that. And I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, we were in a no-win situation if we didn't work together, and then if we worked together, we had a chance. But I mean, it's just funny that I was just like, yep, in a 100-person tournament, went against my friend, and if I would have won that round, I would have been in the top. But of course, I always get matched up with my friends. But yeah, that was when I put Timna Kodama up, because it did well, but like being in the lower pods was just miserable, and I had a miserable tournament before that. And I remember we were talking about putting together those stupid decks for the the local shop, and I was like, you'll be on Tivit, everybody will have to vote. I'll be on Atali, I'll get everybody's top deck. If we get matched up at the same 6-player table, lol. And we did. I mean, it was as much stupid as you would assume, but
Well, I remember going into that tournament and like kind of not being by myself the whole time, but like every time I seen you guys, I'd be like, yeah, I won this one,
yeah.
or I drew that one, I won this one. And like most of the buddies being like, yeah, I struck out on this one, struck out on that one.
And one of those buddies being somebody that had a chromed out $20,000 Blue Farm deck that was like in all of the Blue Farm servers, would talk about how it was the best deck all the time. Like, they were one of those people, and I'm sure everybody has met somebody that like they play Blue Farm and they're just like, I love it. I love talking about it. I love being part of the community. I like chroming out my deck. Like, they were that person. Like,
it was funny because I remember being so hyped to go into the second day and being like, all right, well, I'm in the top 20 or 25 or whatever it was at first.
And a lot of us had made the second day as well. Like, I think almost everybody, but maybe 1 or 2 people hadn't made the second day. Because I remember I felt like I was doing the worst, but I still got to play in the second day.
I remember getting into one of the games and seeing a Krakashima.
Oh, yeah.
And being like, man, I've been studying this deck. Like, does anybody know what this does? And everybody was like, no, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And
it was the Mox Masters winner. Yeah.
I didn't know that at first.
Yeah.
But I watched him play, and I think I won it. Or I don't remember. I had to have won that one because it was my qualifier for the next one.
Yeah. And I remember you didn't realize it was them until they took their playmat out, and you were like, I have seen this playmat. You know?
It was funny because I walked up to him and I was like, man, I've been looking at this deck. I've watched a lot of people play it. Like, you're probably the best player I've ever seen play it.
Well, so you had proxied that deck out.
I did.
And you had it in your bag, and I remember you were like, I have your deck proxied in my bag right now.
I was like, I have it proxied now. And he was like, oh, can I look at it? And I was like, yeah. Sure. But anyway, I geeked out for a minute.
I mean, it was one of the first times we had met somebody that was like big in tournaments, and it was interesting because like that was our first taste of like, oh, like we're playing with the big shots, you know, and like it was not our last. Like, you know, like,
well, in that same pod. So if I was to rate my pod that I had there to my pods now, let's say it's same people, same pod.
Yeah.
Now, it was the Mox Masters winner, which is probably one of the best Krakashima players ever.
Yeah.
And then I believe the other one was like in the top 60. You had played the same person. It was him and the Tim Nadargo player.
Oh, yeah.
In my pod.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
Come to find out, they're like, one of them just played in the Invitational.
Double digits ranked. Yeah.
Like, so going into that, I mean, of course you don't know it back then. I mean, those people were probably clearly as good, if not better now.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
we're all better. Yeah.
But seeing them there, you kind of get the, solidify that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I ended up top 8, which was kind of weird to say, I guess, just how it kind of measured out. I was top 8 of the 100 and something tournament.
Yeah, and you got a $300 Birds of Paradise that you still use to this day, and a mat. And I remember, like, they were supposed to give out a different prize, and the guy was like, yeah, the prizes didn't come through, so, like, here's my personal collection. I'm sorry. Pick out whatever you want in this value range, you know. Like, no, you had gotten the last Birds, but they didn't get enough prizes, so the person that was behind you had to pick up stuff from that personal, and it was just like a judge, like not the guy running it. So like, you know, kudos to him for just being like, I'm gonna take care of everybody, because come to find out, those prizes never came through. So I don't think that guy ever got anything for his stuff.
Well,
Like,
that was one of the first, like, and really the only debacle
yeah,
I've heard of.
yeah,
But for me, it wasn't so much
yeah.
because
You got what you were supposed to get. Yeah,
I was there and did it.
yeah.
I got it.
I think the winner never got their prize money.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be a time twister. I don't think they ever got it.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, that was the one that I decided to give up Timna Kodama, and I wasn't going to go back to Najila, so I was kind of searching for a while. I did have like Atali together, and I liked it, but it was just, it felt kind of random, like a slot machine, and like it very much was determined on the quality of your opponent's deck construction, and like that was kind of Wild West, so like it wasn't as good as it is today.
The level was all over the place.
Yeah. And I remember, and like, this is going to be kind of a side story, but the person that chromed out their deck did not do very well at that tournament. And they were happy for you, but like you could tell on the inside they were kind of dying. You know? And then we had a weekend where we had a tournament on a Saturday and a tournament on a Sunday. And I'd put together Balin, and it, like, to me, this is like, I'll never forget this weekend because I went 0-10. And I'd put together Balin because it had just come out and everybody was like, oh, you put together Balin? That's so cool. I can't wait to see what she does. And I'd be like, yeah, probably not going to. But I remember the guy that was playing Blue Farm, he was playing in just his like local pods, and he pretty much just jammed without really like too much thought. And we were kind of like, you know, trying to show them that was not the way, you know. And I remember playing Balin, and I went 0-10. I think I did get one win at the very yeah. I went 1-9, so 1 win, 9 losses over that weekend. But I remember the entire time I would be like, yeah, my bunny deck's not working out. How are you doing on Blue Farm? And you'd be like, I'm doing great. Like, I might go to like top 16. And then I'd look at them and they'd be like, I lost. And they went 0-10. And I really, at the last round, at the last tournament, me and him had been kind of like buddying up because I was like, yeah, I'm losing too on my bunny deck. It's not very good, but I'm having a lot of fun. And like, you know, I was having fun until we started playing cards, and then it was miserable. But like, everybody was really excited to see the bunny deck. And, like, I still have people that ask, like, are you going to put together Balin again? And I'm just like, oh, I'm scarred. Like, it might like, if it even became a really good deck, I don't even think I would put it together. I think I would just try Jetmir. But it was funny because at the last round I was like, well, I guess I didn't go undefeated. I got like a silly win on my last round, and they were like, yeah, I'm playing the best deck in the format. Everything's chromed out. And I went 0-10. And that person stopped playing with us. Whenever the bans happened, they sold their deck, and they were like, yeah, this is not for me anymore.
I think I topped like top 16 or top 10 or top something on the at least one of those tournaments. Because I remember being at a pod with a Rocco and an Atali. Rocco, Atali, something. And it was the deciding table. Like the Rocco player won it, and he went into the top 4. So I was in the top 16, I believe, of that tournament.
I have it pulled up.
I'm pretty sure.
You can go ahead and go into your next deck while I pull it up.
After
oh, no. I went 0-10. I didn't win my last one. Yeah, no ties, just one. So you were 14th at one of them. Nope. That's the skirmish again. You were 8th at one and 7th at the other.
So I was cooking. I remember when we got back, my brain was like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to play a tournament for like some time.
I remember that was the first one where we had done 2. It was a lot of driving because we did 2, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday. And we had stayed like at a hotel, but it was like 4 hours, go here. An hour and a half, go here. And then because you had topped, we had stayed pretty late.
That was-
And I was driving home and every single person fell asleep. And I was like, guys, you got to stay up. And we got to the point, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I remember like I'd kind of zoned out and I saw a stop sign, but my brain was mush. So I forgot to stop. And then I saw the stop sign and I kind of freaked out because I was like, oh my God, like it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't need to stop. I can just blow through the stop sign but I slammed on the brakes and I remember everybody like lurched forward and I remember like it woke everybody up. And I was just like, I'm sorry, but one of y'all need to stay up. Like I can't just drive everybody while they're asleep. Like I'm sleepy. It's just like, this isn't happening again. Like,
yeah, I mean, we made some adjustments there to where we would stay later.
Yeah. Now if it's a tournament, we usually stay
the night
before. I don't really mind. I don't prefer to drive in and play, but we usually spend the night before and after if it's like a big tournament. It was tough on those because they were like never like we'd go to some and they'd be like 26 people and it'd be like 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah.
But now CDH has caught on so much that like
it could definitely go into the next day. No, I think after the Blue Farm like shotgun rounds, like going Blue Farm to Blue Farm to Blue Farm to Blue Farm, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try Sisse.
Yeah, because you were tired of doing well in Swiss and then getting to top 16, and everybody's like, that's the best deck in the format, get them.
Yeah. And I played Sisse for a while. It was more of a Planeswalkers build, but I believe that Dockside was a thing during that time.
Yeah.
So there was multiple lines with Dockside and like Derevi.
Yeah.
And Emil.
Yeah, it was Emil.
Derevi untaps. Yeah. No, so I don't even think Agatha's was a thing back then.
No, it was not. Because that was it wasn't.
So anyway, playing the Sisse, which still to this day I believe Sisse is the most I don't want to say reliable, but it's very consistent.
Sisse will win eventually. If you don't pick on Sisse, like if you don't start just hard removing, Sisse will win eventually. And it's no cast, so like you can't do anything on Sisse's turn. Yeah.
No, and I mean most of the stuff isn't super great either. Yeah. So like other than like a Bloom Tender or a Savala, like meh. Yeah. Anyway, I went with Sisse for a while. Sisse started to pick up a lot of flack.
Yeah, because Tyvar got printed and Tyvar was really good.
And once it did, I think I switched again back to Tivit. And then I think I went, not to go into Tivit again, but went into Tivit. It was more streamlined. Jumped into Terra for a while.
You're just going all the way to the end. Okay.
Well, no. Well, I didn't want to go into the
ahead.
Tivit.
You can just go all the way to the end, and I'll do the same.
Okay, yeah. Went back into Tivit, played for a while, hopped into Terra. Love Terra. I really do. I think Terra's one of the coolest decks.
She's great at Swiss. Yeah.
What ends up happening, though, is I don't think I'm smart enough for Terra.
It's weird because she's a bad commander in the command zone, but she fills up your yard for Underworld Breach, and you can pull your Ristic out of it. Yeah. But like you want her to die. Like when she hits the board, she doesn't do anything.
I got to a point where I was constantly tying. So that would, I mean, in tournaments, let's say you do 4 rounds. 4 rounds is very modest, or 3 or 4 rounds is very modest. If you're going to time each time, and then you have players like Rogsai that are just like blowing through games, they're more fresh mentally than you are because you're using so much brain power to try to tie or win. Whereas they're like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. If it goes, cool. If it doesn't, cool. Whatever. I noticed that every tournament I would be so exhausted, so I switched to a
Ad Nos deck.
a heavily I like super fast ad nos deck.
Lumara, or not
Lumra
Lumra,
Ezio.
yeah, in the command zone, yeah, or
And
in the companion slot.
and whereas it was fun, a top 4 with it.
Yeah,
It was Glass Cannon,
yeah, culling ritual Ad Nos, like yeah.
and I was like, I can't do that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that anymore. So I switched back to Kennen. I believe, and I've been enjoying Kennen now.
Yeah.
I will say that I did proxy back out Tivit. So if you're listening to this and we've been in a tournament, you may see one with me there soon.
You went from November 2024 to current day just in 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, you're just doing the whole thing.
Well, I mean, this in my mind, it was that quick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I played those decks because I'm one of those people that I grind a deck as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I mean, which makes a lot more sense now because you were like, why?
Yeah, it was funny because I was like, oh, you're just going like.
But I to me, it was that fast. But I can remember you playing.
Yeah, I was about to be like, decks. I'm gonna have like an hour. So one of my things is on my second ever tournament, I got my top 4 win. So I immediately felt satisfied because I had gotten a top 16, I had gotten a top 4. All I needed in my belt was a full tournament win. And I remember you were like, I need to top 4 because you'd gotten a top 16 a lot, but never had bridged the gap from top 16 to top 4. And I remember you were like, I need to sit on this deck. I need to focus. I want to get to top 4. And I mean, you did eventually, but I was lucky, I guess, to get a top 4 table win on my second tournament ever. So because I had that under my belt, I did definitely want like a full tournament win. But I felt satisfied to where I could jump around quite a lot. And if I did poorly, I could always be like, what? I've already won like $200 to $500. Like I could always like lean back on that to kind of like ease my mind. So I'd made Rocco. I'd made a Tali just for our locals, and I didn't really play it too much. It kind of sat on a shelf, and I played Rocco for a while, but I played Stacks Rocco back when you could actually play Dockside, because there was a lot of Emil loops where you just would cast one spell, go get Dockside with Rocco, and you'd just win from there. So it was a lot of rule of law effects. If I had a Deafening Silence in my opening hand, most of those were wins. What I could do is, it was one of my like favorite win lines. I would go get Dockside, with Dockside, play Emil, infinite flickers, and I would then go get somehow I would go get if I was playing Deafening Silence, I would just play Rocco again, but I would go get Roxanne, which is the cat lady, and I would starfall the entire table, where I would just be like, okay, well, when she comes in, a meteorite lands and you take 2 damage. I'm going to do that 20 times to each of you. I'll have 60 meteorites on my side of the field, but you guys will die. And she also doubled treasures too, so it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was also like there was a lot of good win cons in that deck. You would always play the Vivian combo as well. I wasn't too much. I was into Food Chain because I would use it as a quick win, but I wasn't super into it as a line itself, because I wasn't good enough to. I knew I could pull every creature out, but if I didn't have like ability mana, it was kind of tough. Now I actually like. Now that we have Enduring Vitality, all of my Kiki copies that have haste tap for mana. So like there's a lot more you can do. You can also have supportive parents to tap all the creatures that you have for mana. There wasn't really that much back then, so you couldn't do those. But I remember Rocco, like, I really liked that I had a Naya deck that could Aven Interrupter and, you know, run Mind Sensor and all of that stuff. But it was very responsible. And even without counter spells, I had like Red Elemental Blast and Guttural Roar, the green red hybrid that counters a blue instant. I had a lot of like responsible cards, and looking back, it was probably too responsible. Like I did pretty well off of it, but it wasn't. It was consistently almost getting to top 16, but it wasn't there. And I remember I just kind of got to the point where I was like, I think enough people are playing good decks now that I can go back to Atali. And of course, I played Balin for like a weekend, and you know, went 0-10 with that. It was fun, but I got into Atali, and Atali served me pretty well. I remember we went back to the tournament, the skirmish tournament, and I brought Atali, and I didn't top 16. No, I did top 16. But people would get scared of me, and on the Atali trigger, they would just silence, not even knowing what would come out. And I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. I understand that like fear of the unknown is scary. Or like people would put out a Drannith real quick, or that's when people were actually running like Deafening Silence and Rule of Law effects. And I think High Noon had just gotten printed. And I was like, I'm not going to be responsible in Atali. I'm not running any of the Red Elemental Blasts. I'll run maybe a couple of things like Veil of Summer because it draws me a card, but I was like, I'm just going to take everything out and I'm going to go full Cardboard Goblin. And I remember that weekend there was a Houston tournament at a bar that the whole thing about the bar was the bar itself had a soccer field on the inside. And I remember you couldn't make this one, but we showed up and it was like a Yu-Gi-Oh episode where like we walked in, and I didn't know this, but there was a full soccer field with AstroTurf and everything. And that's where they put us because they didn't want anybody to like sit at the bar because it wasn't a 21 and up tournament. So they had to separate us, which I mean, everybody there was 21 and up, but they specifically separated us into the field. So it was meant to be a place where people would like watch people play soccer. So I had a bunch of people watching our games all around us that were like 10 feet above us, like looking down and watching us. And it was a blast. Like I was on a streak. I think I was first going into top 10. Top 10, I fought it quite a bit. No, I was first going into top 16. And I didn't even realize it was a top 16 game because I was like wanting to order food. So I got in the top 16 game and I won it. And they were like, I remember thinking it was still Swiss. So I was like, oh, are we going to cut to top 16? And they were like, we did cut to top 16. You won it. You're in top 4. And I was like, I'm in top 4? What? And then we got to our top 4 game. And I'm looking at my hand. I'm seat 1 because I was first place going into top 4.
Hey.
I have Squee Food Chain. So I was just like, oh, I win. Like, I win right here. And I played a land and a Mana Dork turn 1. And maybe a Lotus Petal or something like that. And then I remember turn 2, dropped Food Chain, immediately went into Squee combo. And I had done Squee enough to where someone was like, well, I'm going to Mind Break Trap you. And I was like, I have enough mana to recast it. They're like, well, exile. And I was like, I can cast it from exile. And they were like, dang, we have interaction and he still wins. And I was like, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because it was Food Chain, play Squee, exile Squee for 4. And I had like a Spirit Guide or something like that. So like I had enough to just win through the mind break trap. And I won the entire tournament, and it was like a $600 payout. And I was just like, I did it. Like, I've been trying for a year to win a full tournament, and I did it. You know? And it was like a big tournament where I was in the middle of a soccer field, and like two of my friends had gone, and one of my friends had got to top 16 and then misplayed, and they didn't get to the top. But yeah, I just remember I was like, I went on Italia. I did the thing. Like, you know, and I was just like, okay, so I have a top 4 win under my belt and a just full win. And I was the first person in our group to get like a full big tournament win. And at this point I'd won like $1,000 through playing CDH. So I was like, I'm doing this, you know, like this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I played around with Atali for a bit. And I'm not gonna say I got sick of it, but people kind of figured out what to do. They would just silence on top, or, you know, they would to top deck tutor some junk. And it became kind of a slot machine deck. And I was like, I got to win on it. I don't really like the slot machine nature of it. I know some people really like it, but not really for me. And then the bans. And then I remember I was like, I want to play a blue deck. Like, I've not been responsible for a while. I should play a blue deck. And then this little card named Nadu got printed. And I was like, this is my style of deck. Like, landfall, kind of silly combos. You get to play all of these like bespoke cards that no other deck runs, like the tappers, untappers, all of the zero cost equipments. I liked it. And I played it, and we went to a couple tournaments where there were people that were really good on Kinnan that swapped to it, but most people were like, yeah, it's broke, but it's not Kinnan broke, so I'm going to stay on Kinnan. And I was playing it for a while, and I never got to take it to a tournament, but I remember it was doing pretty well, and I was good at it. And I remember it was a little frustrating when people like didn't know, when people at the table didn't realize, like, yeah, this is just win here. Like, we don't even need to play it out. And then then the bans happened like out of nowhere, and Dockside got banned, Nadu got banned, and Mana Crypt got banned, and Jeweled Lotus got banned. And I was just like, oh man, I'd just been practicing with Corvold. Like, I was just like, all of my decks are gone. Like, at the time, I didn't think Atali was playable without that much fast mana. And it wasn't for a little bit. Like, they did get enough cards printed to where Atali is playable again, but it was not great whenever the ban happened. So I was like, because I had Corvold, Atali, and Nadu built, and every single one of my decks were no longer playable anymore. Like, I would say Atali was probably the most playable, but at that stage, that deck was not very good. So I remember I like experimented around quite a bit. I honestly don't remember what my deck was that I was playing. I think Hashaton was like the first one that I landed on. Do you remember anything before Hashaton? After the bans?
I think Hashaton was it.
I think so. I remember I tried to revitalize Timna Kodama for a little bit, and like, it was okay. I took it to a tournament, but it relied on shutting artifacts down a lot, but one of the win cons was an artifact win con. So like, I would get into places where I would set up a win for myself, or I'd have win in hand, but because I was shutting down artifacts, I couldn't really win. And it was good. Like, I was winning, but it was a combat based deck, and people would see that I would win, and they'd be like, yeah, he's got win on his turn. Let me sit here and think and politic for the next 40 minutes. You know? And it wouldn't be slow play because it would be their turn. So it was kind of frustrating. I think I played that for a while, and then I saw Hashaton, and I was like, this is broke. Like, I'm gonna play this. And I played Hashaton for a long time. Like, oh, I can see my deck lists. Oh, unable to display deck.
I think for me, when the bans happen, one of the big deterrents from Tivit and Kennen is if I ever had to pass,
Yeah.
Dockside came out and like that person would usually win.
Oh, I played Timna Thras for a little bit. I forgot. I played TNT for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was just slower.
Yeah, it was kind of meandering, like
Very vanilla.
yeah.
Like it's I would say it's more vanilla than Timna Crom. Just because with Timna Crom you get a lot of random, like you could do the Adnaz, which I guess you could Adnaz with the other one, but you do Adnaz or Necropotence, and there's different versions of Timnacrom, whereas I feel like Timna Thras is kind of similar.
That was the closest I ever got to like playing like the best deck at the format, because I remember everybody had swapped over to that, but I'd made a very interesting, like to me interesting. It was enchantment based, so I had Gaia's Cradle and I had Sarah's Sanctum that I could go like big mana with. So I had a lot of fun with that. I also was running Cloud of Fairies in that one, but I wasn't running. No one had figured out their Boro Breeze Collar because we hadn't gotten Talon Gates yet. So I was ahead on Cloud of Fairies. It was literally just an untapper. And then, so January, I was playing TNT. So I played TNT. Yeah, I played TNT and Timna Kodama for a while. And then after that, in February, I had found Hashaton, and I had played Hashaton for a long time. Yeah, I really liked. I mean, I still do really like Hashaton. I remember I took Hashaton to our big Atlanta tournament, and I kind of struck out with it, and it was fun. I still really like it. Like, I mean, Gristle Grand comes back. I have the deck together still. I refuse to take it apart. But if certain things come back, I would play it again. But it was just really hard in like the Rog Thras meta when everybody had swapped to Rog Thras, where there would be these like big creature decks, and it's like, well, I have a Force of Will. You know, I'm not really going to run Toxic Deluge because like I bring out a lot of stuff too. Like I am a creature deck too, but these creature decks would be like, okay, well, I've got 8 creatures on the field. And this was before like earth bending and stuff like that. They'd be like, Guy's Cradle, and I'd be like, well, I can't counter a land. And they'd be like, all right, float the mana, Thrasios. And it's like, well, I didn't counter Thrasios, so I guess you just win here.
I mean, even if you do counter Thras, it comes back out for 4, which is, I mean, if you're able to remove it 2 to 3 times,
yeah,
you're good, but it's just so low to the ground.
It was tough to play a very slow Esper control deck because like my mulligans were so tough because like if I just kept a control hand to get to late game, I would just stall us out and tie. If I kept a control hand and just a okay setup hand, same thing. I had to have a good hand, and then on top of it, I had to be able to shut people down. And I had to look at the decks that were out and go like, okay, well, I have a bunch of non-creature counters. That doesn't do anything against Trimna Thrasios. And I remember I claw nailed my way up to top 16, and I was third. So like I almost got seeded to top. You got seeded to top. And I had to claw and nail, and it was Thrasios, Vivi. And I was like, well, really the only person I can stop is Vivi, and Vivi's going to go off right away. And by stop, I mean more delay, because I can stop them from getting an early Curiosity, but they run 2 more in the deck. And if they play the creature Curiosity, yeah, we're done. And it was a tough fight. Like I said, I'd shut down Vivi early. Vivi was kind of in a like, well, now I'm a late game deck. Like I'm also in blue. Let's work together. And the other guys were like, well, we're in blue too. And I was just like, yeah, that sucks. And Vivi ended up recovering and winning it, and I didn't get to top. And I had won a lot of tournaments on it. Like I got fifth in, well, not one, but like I top 16 in a couple tournaments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I got second in a big tournament where I won $500. So like the deck had kind of paid for itself by the time I retired it, but I went over to Rocco, and Rocco just did really well. Like very consistent, flew under a lot of the radar. Like I'd kind of been inspired by like just the helpless feeling of playing Rogthras, where I was like, I'm just going to play a creature deck. All of my spells are pretty much going to sacrifice as an additional cost, so I don't even care if you counter them. And I just got to get to 7 mana, and once I get there and I have a sack outlet, I'll Rocco for 7. Only cast I'll do on that turn, and I'll just win the game. And like, yeah, you know, bounce effects and swords do kind of mess me up, but if you have the cards to stop me, you have them. If you don't, you don't. I'm going to push either way. I was a really good Rocco pilot. I mean, I still am. But we had gone to the Dallas 10K. Wow, 2 months ago? That was 2 months ago. That was February 7th. Doesn't seem like 2 months ago.
It hasn't been that long.
Well, it's March 9th. I don't know, in 1 month. Never mind. Yeah.
It hadn't been that long.
Yeah, I was like a month ago. I got 40. I got my 11 points right away. And like it was funny because everybody in the Discord was like, oh my God, you're tearing it up. And I got into the higher level pods and I was just like, oh, I can't do anything of value here. Like all I need to get is a win over the next 5 matches, because it was 7 rounds, because I'd already had 11, so I was definitely going to day 2. And over the next 4 rounds I need to get a win, and I struck out. And it was another one of those like, yeah, I get into the higher pods and I'm just helpless. And I was like, I can run a little bit more of a responsible Rocco. And I did put that together, but I was like, I need a break. Like I want to play some jank, like something stupid. And I was trying to do a blue deck. So I put together Marlin, because I like food chain decks. And Marlin's fun, but like Marlin was kind of like Hashaton, where it was like, I need to keep a hand that pushes. Otherwise, I just have a bunch of counters and I just sit there and I'm like, okay, which like Kinnan can do that, because Kinnan can always back up to like, well, I'll just spend it on a flip. But like there'd be times where I had a bunch of mana and I had a bunch of counters and I was like, well, this doesn't really work, you know? And it's fun. I still have it together. Whenever there needs to be like another blue player at our for fun pods, whenever we get together, I'll bust it out. But I don't think it's going to be something that I bring to a tournament. I do like the name of it. It's Marlin's totally legal recycling program, because I steal your stuff and then cast it. So just the name alone made me want to play it. But I really, whenever you were playing Ezio and whenever I was playing Timna Kodama, I really liked resolving a culling ritual and being like, well, I can just dump out this like 5 cost stupid big commander, and then I'll play an elf for green, and from that I'll drop a white creature because I don't have the white mana. Like it was really nice to just play culling ritual and then just have all of this stuff I could dump out on the field. So I was like, I want to make a green black deck. And I was looking at green black and I was like, man, green black has like so much redundancy. Like there's 4 different ways to reanimate that are under 2 mana. There's, 5 different entombs. One of them is a 5 cost creature. Well, 2 of them are 5 cost creatures. But like if you want to run entomb effects, you can run entomb. You can run the one that sends a non-legendary. So entomb is 1. There's one that just sends a non-legendary from your deck for 2 at sorcery speed. There's Buried Alive that sends 3 creatures at sorcery speed for 3. And then there's Vile Entomber that sends any card on ETB for 4. So I was looking at it and I was just like, I can run 2 Necropotences, so like Necropotence and Necrodominance. I can run 4 Entombs. I can run 4 Reanimates. Dina herself has a 1-card combo with Bloodthirsty, so if I just play those 2 and the triggers resolve, it's infinite triggers. She has a lot of synergy with Essence Warden or anything that like enters the battlefield. There's just so much like synergy there, and I was like, I can play a commander deck where I get 4 copies of the cards I want. Because like
crazy.
Even, and I've been looking at it a little bit more, so I forgot about Quina, the card that makes, it's Chatterfang, it's mono green Chatterfang, where whenever a token's made, you make an additional frog. So like if I could put that in and I could have 2 Chatterfangs in the deck. I could, because Dina sacks, I could run Pitless Plunderer, and Pitless Plunderer would go infinite with, not infinite, but like infinite ETBs with Dina and either of the Chatterfang effects, because it would be create a creature, pay 1 to sacrifice it, create a token, or create a treasure. So I could get infinitely big with Dina, kill somebody with commander damage, and then still have infinite ETBs to where I could go get Essence Warden and win. You know, like there are so many things that I'm like, the deck is really redundant, and even so, it has a lot of interaction because it has a lot of kill spells. Like I'm gonna put the Slaughter Pact in, where it's like, yeah, I can get rid of something for 0. I have to pay 3, but I mean, if I'm losing the game, it's worth it. It's just got a lot of redundancy. Like the fact that I can run every card and all of the important cards in the deck, like all of the Green Sun effects, like there's Court of Calling, Nature's Rhythm, Green Sun. You could even run Finale of Devastation and the Battle. Like there's so many ways to have redundancy where you're basically playing a 100 card deck that is 4 copies of each card you need, which, I mean, there's only 1 Essence Warden. We got a Virulent Emissary in the new set, where it's every time one of your creatures enters, you gain a life. So I can even run 2 of that, but I mean, the one where it's just my creature entering is not worth it. And then on top of it, with all of those synergies, it's still a really good turbo Protein Hulk list. So I brought it to our local tournament, and we don't run as many counter spells as like more of the sweaty tournaments. So like I was able to kind of like just keep greedy hands and roll. I went undefeated on that one. I got 5th, and I got 5th because you were in my final pod again, which we're at like 6, like almost like we see each other so much in tournaments. And then last weekend I took it to like, there's we see a lot of people in Houston and a lot of tournaments, and like they tournament grind a lot. Like that group is really good.
I would almost argue like there are extended pods.
Yeah. We see them all the time. Like anytime we show up, they're like, "Oh, you guys just put out an episode," or like, "Oh yeah, you did a YouTube video."
It's kind of funny, not to go off into a weird tangent, but we have an extended pod one way, one direction,
in Louisiana,
and then we have an extended pod in the other way.
And then we have a 4-hour extended pod.
Oh, yeah. And they're probably the not to discredit the people closer, but they're really like the Dallas guys are just.
So Houston is like top 1,000, which is still good. I'm not top 1,000. Like I'm top 15%. You're right on the, I think you were 800 and then you fell down to 1,000. But I mean, still, like that's the level of it. One event will bring you out of 3-digit range to 4-digit, and they're top 1,000. They're really good. Some of them are starting to breach double-digit rank, like in the world, like top 5%, and then there are multiple people that we play in Dallas that are 2-digit rank, and one of them was number 8. They're number 12 now, but crazy.
Yeah.
Like really good competition. But I took Dina over there, and Dina did really well. It was a lot of fun. I mean, everybody was having fun with Dina at the table. The one thing I really like about that group is, even though they're all pretty good and like tournament grind, they still swap out to like silly decks where they're like, yeah, I'm playing like mono green flash or stuff like that.
It's like, I want to try this out.
Yeah, like I do care about my top deck ranking, but we've had experiences lately where it kind of like skews people's decisions, where like they'll be like, oh man, I can't lose rank, like everybody will hate me for doing this, but like it's shady. But I gotta keep my top deck rank, so I gotta do it, and like I get that, like it's tough. Like,
I will say that as this, because I think the ELO has, for at least us, has been not a big thing, but it has been on our radar now.
Yeah.
So much as not so much as before.
Well, the reason that we've been tracking, and this is like kind of side, but we want our local scene to start going to more big tournaments. So you have to have 10 matches in a big tournament, but we want our local tournament to be a over 30 tournament.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to drive participation. And I mean, it's also just fun to go travel with your friends to Houston or, Louisiana or all that. So we've been posting ELO once a month in our local group. And I was ranking it by like top to bottom, but I felt kind of bad. So I was just like, I'll just do it alphabetical order,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been fun to track. It's been one of those things that I was just tracking it to drive participation, and now like every time I go to a tournament, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna wreck my ELO if I don't do well. And then like I'll go to a tournament and I'll go undefeated and I'll get 5th, and then I'll be like, yeah, that
should have hit my ELO.
That should have hit my ELO. There were 32 people registered, but we had 5 people drop, so like it didn't. So like we're trying to support our local business a little bit more, and they've been really good to us. They've done 6 CDH tournaments just for us, really, like just us and our group, and it's successful for them. But I mean, they really like having 32 people, so we try to make sure that they get 32 people.
And by no means will our local ever become 120.
No,
I don't think.
Yeah, they couldn't fit that many. Like, yeah,
I mean, maybe we could somewhere, somehow, some way. However, at this moment, I think that the cap is at maybe 60 at top.
We want to hit 35. Like, yeah.
But being said, I think that's a newfound thing where there's stress on the ELO.
Yeah.
And I try not to really look at mine too much, just because I don't want that pressure, and when I play it, I'll be like, I did good. Where am I at? And I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, I'm cool. I'm here. And then if I lose or I scrub out on a tournament, I try not to really deep dive into it, because you get kind of spiral.
That was another reason why I wanted to play Dina, because I was like, I need to stop trying to ELO grind with Rocco.
Yeah.
The only reason that I wouldn't play Dina is because I would worry that it would affect my win rate and my ELO like Balin did. Like, I'm still being punished for my 0-10 with Balin. Like, it's recovered a little bit, but my win rate. So I'm actually just here, so I'm going to pull it up. My win rate overall looks really impressive, because I have 1 win, 2 finals, 3 top 10s, 1 top 16, and that's just the things that were on top deck. Like, a lot of the things that we didn't do weren't even on top deck. But if I look at all time, I have a 21% win rate. But I'm in the top 15% of ELO right now. So like if I just look at 2026, I have a 29% win rate. So like
That's crazy.
I've been doing really well recently. But whenever you have 10 losses in a single weekend, that hurts. Like even 2025, like I have a 22%. So, and then my worst, so I did 10 tournaments in 2024. That's when we were still kind of figuring out what we were doing. So I have 7 wins, 31 losses, and 7 ties. So my 2024 win rate is 15.5%. So like pretty bad because I was just running around for like silly decks. 2025 is when I started to get a little bit more serious and started performing better. And now I'm at almost 30%, for 2026, which is good. But I mean, that's with 2 tournaments with Dina as well. So I'm learning a deck right now and I'm still winning pretty well. Just kind of reflecting over like not our decks so much, but just like cards in general. It's been really cool over the last 2 years to like see so many staples pop up. Like I didn't feel so when we first started to play CDH, I felt very not mistreated by Magic, but I felt like they were like, oh, these people are playing Commander in a way that's not supposed to be played. Like, let's make a point to ignore them. I haven't felt like that as much lately. I will say that the bans felt like kind of a slap in the face, but it's been really cool to see all of these cards printed with what I would say is maybe exclusively CDH in mind. Like, Avatar was the set where they were like, let's make green great again.
Yeah.
I mean, Valley Floodcaller, Orcish Bowmasters. Every set has a new
Vitality.
Yeah, every set has a new CDH commander. Like they make sure to put in a cracked commander or 2 or 4. Like Azula, that was a CDH commander.
Yeah.
Avatar, Banta Avatar, Aang, maybe, but like you can't look at Azula and go,
that wasn't
CDH. Like there's so many cards that it's just like this was CDH in mind.
I mean the what was that? The Unagi.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty up there.
Word 2, yeah. They made another fairy mastermind for Kennen. Like you can look at the cards and go like somebody there is designing for CDH, and like it does take a long time for the process. Like I do feel like they have the idea for a set 2 years before, and then of course they might slip in like card designs. They might slip in card designs within the last 3 to 6 months. Like that's not. I'm not saying that they design the cards 2 years in advance. I'm saying they get all the licenses for Avatar and kind of plan what they're doing. But I will say lately, like Bloomburrow was such a great CDH set. I still see Glarb. I still see Valley Floodcaller. I mean, we also see a lot of like frog synergy. One of the things that I was kind of talking with somebody, there's a card, I think there's Crackling Counterpart that makes a copy of something.
Yeah.
But there's Croaking Counterpart, which is a Simic card that it's a copy, but I think it's like a 1/1 frog. But what I didn't realize is Valley Floodcaller untaps frogs.
Yeah.
So people are cloning those big mana dorks, and then every time they cast a spell with Valley Floodcaller out, it untaps something that Valley Floodcaller should not have ever untapped. And people are having a lot of fun with it. I do like that the bans kind of made everybody go back to the drawing board, and there's a lot of people that were drafting new stuff. Like you had to start finding new stuff. Like Talon Gates was the thing that made Obaro Breeze Collar good, but we didn't see the Talon Gates combo for almost a year.
I would say the current Rog Thras was 100% based on the bans.
Well, I built Rog Thras. It was one of my first, like, for fun. I never took it to a tournament, but I liked that Rog was 0 and I could polymorph it into Hullbreaker and the other one I was Tidespout. So like I built that deck. It was one of my first CEDH decks, and I would just make it, make Rog into that. Like I never thought about like, guys cradle, make a bunch of creatures because you have a 0 cost. Yeah, the Candelabra. Like it was crazy. I'm really grateful that we got into it really early when the prices were low. I mean, we had a friend recently buy a Candelabra within the last year for $600, and then that combo got found. And like he knew of the combo, but it wasn't like a staple yet. And that card shot up to $1,000 like within 2 weeks of them buying it.
I guess my time to go on a little tangent, but not too much. So we have a local player that shout out to you if you're listening.
It's me.
No, it's not you.
If it's good, it's me.
That started playing, I call it Wet Dog, but it's Thrasios.
Dog Thras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched that deck play and I was like, this deck is going to be huge. Like it's going to be big. It's going to be a big CEDH deck, which it kind of got with the printing of Squelcher. Everybody kind of jumped back on to Rog Thras instead of Dog Thras. But they built a deck kind of for funsies at the last tournament locally, and many people are talking about that deck as well.
Rog is shy.
They're talking about it being one of the top decks too.
So they built it because they had seen someone else play it. One of the guys that we play with that was number 8 and he went down to like double digit. He was the one that took it to a tournament like 2 weeks ago. But then so it was interesting. So he was playing that. He started playing Rog Ishai, and it was good. Like it was control the board, win with Underworld Breach, and if I don't win quick enough, Ishai will literally just murder everyone. Like Murder Bird will just fly in and kill everybody.
Now I don't know his list on it of what they were talking about. However, I know that it has been said that it does what Kennen wants to do but can't do.
No.
And this is top players.
I don't agree. Like I'm a top player and I don't know. I'm just kidding.
But no, I'm talking like I've seen 2 videos on it for sure in the last week, because I'll put on a video as I'm like driving or whenever I get a chance.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
You don't watch the video while you're driving. You listen to it.
I don't condone that. I have YouTube music. So.
Yeah, just for the kids listening, when you drive in 6 years, don't watch video.
But point being is that it's been on. Seemingly, he's been linked into some of this like top.
And to his credit, we hyped up Urza quite a bit with TMNT, and I think that set's going to go under the radar. I think that'll be a set that everybody skips, and then 6 months later, everybody will be like, "Oh, there's some good cards in here. Like I should have bought more." Which I mean, it's good. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. I put a card in my deck from it. Bebop and Rocksteady is like so good for Dina. But to their credit, they saw I was posting all of the combos in our Discord, podcast Discord, and they saw the sewer surveillance cam and they saw April and they were like, oh, so now I'll have 2 things that poop out artifact tokens when I play an artifact. And also I have a really early infinite mana combo with Urza. And they put together Urza, and immediately like I got my butt beat like by Urza. And I was playing Dina, so like it was Urza, Rawl, and Dina, which that's a very tough 3 pot.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're ahead of the curve. I'm going to say that Urza is going to top 16 within the next month, like for sure. It was always a good deck, and it just needed that little bit to get up there. And I mean, it's a mono blue control, still win the game, you know.
Yeah, it just amazes me that they're seemingly so linked in.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? Why would you build this?
yeah.
So I'm gonna show him a card I pulled yesterday.
Oh, nice.
You had mentioned April, so I pulled like a full art.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like I don't think we discover there's a lot of ingenuity now. Like there was forced ingenuity when the bans happened, but I think a lot of people, me included, I like playing stuff that people don't know. Like I looked up Dina and I was like, no one's really playing Dina, and I built it, and I'm gonna sit there and kind of refresh the Dina boards in like a couple months and be like, who else is playing Dina now? 'Cause
Yeah.
she's good. She's a lot of fun. I'm putting like definitely some pet cards in. It's gonna take me a couple events to really flesh the deck list out, but it's fun. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably a good point to like hit going forward. I mean, not to move on, but like thank you guys for 2 years of support. Like if we were uploading videos and nobody watched them or commented them, like we might not be here anymore. It's kind of not really a pain, but scheduling everything that we want to do, tournaments, podcast, with 2 people, where we have to sync up our schedules, and you work 50 hours a week now.
Yeah, if not more,
Yeah, if not more, and you're still hitting tournaments and doing the podcast. I don't know if we would really be carving out the time. So thank you guys for all the support. I have a blast in the Discord. There are definitely some days where I go in and I get a little bit excited and I start posting a little bit too much. But I mean, if you guys are in the Discord, thank you for putting up with my noise. Thank you for your support. We've had some very, very generous people. I made the Ko-Fi, of course, to like try to get a little bit of support, but I never thought anybody was going to donate. And you guys have been doing really good to support us. It's a lot. Thank you.
I can't say it enough. Like I remember when we first started and we had like our first like 10 views.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, if you were in that top 10 views or
Yeah.
like I remember being like, man, this is crazy. There's people that listen.
Well, it's also crazy because like I'm not the kind of person like with our local people. Like I'm not the type of person. I know people that like every time they upload on YouTube, they'll put it on their Facebook, they'll put it on their Instagram, like they'll make everybody local. Like they'll wear it out. And like I mean you should ask your friends to, support what you're doing, but I mean we upload 2 hours every 2 weeks, and we've had a lot of support from our just local friends. Like there's times where I'll just be playing and like someone will put a card in their deck and I'm like, oh yeah, I reviewed that card like on the podcast, and they're like, I know, I listened to the whole thing, it was awesome. And I'm just like, you listened to 2.5 hours of me speak? Like
Yeah.
And it's like it's like local support. I mean, we'll go to tournaments and like for example, I brought Dina to a tournament last weekend and I had a couple people at that tournament, and it's 2 hours away from where I live. They were like, oh yeah, you guys just did an episode on that, or like you guys just did a video on that. Like I'm excited to see like what she does, and like people see the playmat, and I won't think that people are listening, and then they're like, oh hey, like I listened to this episode, it was really good, like I really liked this, like you were spot on about this card, or like
Or even be like, well, what are y'all? You're about to put out another one. What's the next topic? And I'll be like, sometimes I don't know until we sit down.
Yeah, I know. I have them all. So I just to kind of wrap up the thank you. So I pulled where we're having listeners from, and this is over a full year, and we're at we're over we're in the 5 digits of downloads in a year, which is like huge, crazy.
That's cool.
Like that's over 10,000. And I just kind of wanted to shout out. This is everybody over a percent of that 10,000. So a percent would be minimum 100 listens from a country, you know? At the top of the list, United States, clearly. Biggest state supporting us. What do you think?
I think it's something that's not really.
It's not Texas.
Yeah, I don't think so. I would assume like. I want to say it's like Alaska or Nebraska or something. So some place that's not kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
So California.
Really?
Yeah, we're big in California, Texas, of course, and then New York and Illinois. So like a lot of good listeners. Huge support in Canada, which is cool to see.
That's awesome.
Big support in Germany, where I don't even know if English is like the number one language. So
that's cool.
That's awesome. If you're a German listener, I am looking at the podcast, but if you guys want to leave a comment and just tell us what you like or don't like, that's cool too. After that, Australia, which I know that we have somebody from Australia in the Discord, and I always like to hear about their like local Australian tournaments. Like I think that's really cool. I've always kind of like followed like the world tournaments, even though they're a little bit different. Like I love seeing the stuff that comes out of Japan, even though they're on a different system.
Same with like the Europe
yeah
line too. They have different rulings.
Yeah. Singapore is our next one.
It's wild.
Yeah. And then the United Kingdom. And then we have a good following in Denmark and Japan. But like I've listed eight different countries with over 1% of listeners.
That's so crazy.
And we've not put out 100 episodes, so that's like multiple people. That's multiple people that are listening to us from that country. And then we upload from Podbean, which like that's what hosts our stuff. And Podbean is kind of a smaller platform that people listen on. I mean, it's a really cool platform for people that like don't really want to deal with like the multiple uploads everywhere. I just put out an episode and it sends it all out for me. And literally 15 hours ago, we got a new follower on Podbean itself. And like, that's big. Like I'll look at some of the like podcasts that are like hosted on Podbean, and I'll see like very relatable names and be like, oh, we have 5% of their following, which I mean for Magic the Gathering, and it's somebody that like does like news podcasts. Like that's really cool. Yeah, so thank you guys a lot for that. I think going forward, there's just going to be a lot of innovation in CDH. Like it's catching on. The fact that we can tournament test so many decks is really cool. Like before, we would have to test it out with our local group, and like if you play tournaments and you have a local group, you kind of know that like people will figure out your deck, and then you'll be like, man, this deck sucks. And then you'll take it to a tournament and people won't know what it's doing. And then you're like, oh, it just wins. Like I just get wins.
Yeah.
People just let me win on accident. But I've been able to test out a lot of stuff with the local group, and then still within, just this last month, take it to 2 different types of tournaments and be like, yeah, maybe I could take this to the boil. I don't know if I'm going to take Dina to the boil. Maybe I will, just for fun. Like I'm not really elo grinding, but I mean, I think that a lot more people are getting those opportunities now that tournaments have gotten so much support. It seems pretty, I'm not going to say easy, because, getting people together is never easy, but I mean, it seems like there are just people that love the game that are like, yeah, I can get 35 of my friends into a room. I just need to find a room that's cheap.
Well, it's become a new thing to where the certain CEDH groups will like almost backpack,
Yeah, yeah,
or I say more like caravan
yeah, yeah.
to these tournaments, or like fly and do this. And
Yeah, there's a guy that plays Sisse that we know he lives 4 hours away from us, and every local tournament we'll go, and it's a 2 hour drive for us, and he's there. Like if it's a big tournament, I can guarantee he's going to be there. And he's played Sisse, has not dropped that deck for years. Like played it whenever CDH was early, played it before Dockside bans, never dropped it, has still not dropped it. Like really loyal, really like Sisse, flies all over to play it. Like that's cool. Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, yeah,
He's up there in the Sisse players that I know.
yeah, yeah,
But no, we can't thank you guys enough for listening, to be
yeah.
honest. Like it amazes me every time I look at this stuff, and like I said, Cryptid's a big statistics and information guy. Like he'll send me some numbers, and I'll be like, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm a Scrum certified project manager, and what do I do full time? Podcast. For now.
But it is,
Tournament grind and podcast.
it is pretty crazy. And without you guys, obviously, I mean, we might still put them out there, but
Yeah,
it's a lot better that there is some people that listen, and hopefully it's helpful. To be honest, I know we've been ranting for a while. I don't even know what time.
well, I wanted to get it to 2 hours, and we're at 2 hours and 1 minute. So.
Oh, really? I felt like we've been on this for a minute.
No. Usually around like 2 hours, I kind of am just like, all right, let me shut this down. But yeah, thank you guys. I think we're gonna see even. I think this year we're gonna see a huge growth of CDH. Like I think the people that stuck with it are gonna be rewarded. Like there's gonna be a lot of really great tournaments. I mean, we're playing with some of the best players in the world, which is really cool. Like routinely. It's been really cool that the community is so tight knit, but we're also seeing like a huge explosion of giant tournaments. I mean, we literally this whole month could have gone to a tournament every weekend, and we did. Yeah, like between us, we did. Uh, we just did the Dallas 10K. We're gonna do the Boyle after that. There's a bunch of qualifiers that we can do. If you guys listen to us and you see us at tournaments, like we're always down to chat and hang out. If you're going to the Boyle, let us know. We'll meet up, say hi. Like
For sure.
yeah, it's been an awesome experience this year. This year especially. I mean, even our local group has almost doubled or tripled just the amount of people that have been like, yeah, I don't want to do draft anymore. I want to play CDH. That looks fun.
Yeah.
It's more accessible than ever. Recently, there was a tournament that disqualified somebody in the top 4 because they had a single proxy over the limit. And even though they offered to buy the card from the shop hosting it, they still said it was an illegal deck, and they disqualified them. So the final 4 of that tournament was a 3-pod.
I listen to that as well.
Yeah, every tournament since then has kind of seen the backlash of players that's like, hey, we want proxied tournaments. And I think that event, even though it really sucked for that person, has really pushed people to start opening up to full proxy. I mean, even our local tournament, we were not a huge fan of big proxy, 100% proxy tournaments, just because we were like, people would shit. We've had not horror stories, but we've had people in pen write the name of the cards on a basic land, and their entire deck was Kinnan with just basic lands with pen, not even Sharpie. We've had people make a whole deck of 100% basic lands, and they just printed paper over them and put them in to where like it didn't shuffle right, and the whole deck was proxied, and they clearly didn't really know how to play. But I think enough people have either seen that or entered a deck like that themselves, and then they were like, oh, this was a waste of $40. Like, I have not seen it since. I know one person that did do that once. I like asked them, I was like, so like, why'd you do that? They're like, I just wanted to hang out and have fun, and I just didn't have the money. And now I realized it was a bad thing to do. So now I have been putting together a list. And of course, I'm gonna run proxies, but like now they're gonna be nice proxies. And a lot of the tournaments have helped as well, where they're like, your proxies need to look like actual cards. Like, I played a Malcolm Vile Smasher list that was all One Piece characters. And I was just like, what are these cards? Like, you just played the Grand Line. Like, what is that? I was like, I don't want to pick up every card and not recognize it.
Man, I've actually seen tournaments where they have proxies to like either rent or
Yeah.
or purchase.
We went to a tournament the day after Vexing Shusher was legal. Like, you could get it from a pre-release, but they made a bunch of Vexing Shushers and went, if you're running Vexing Shusher or trying to run it, come check in your proxies with us. If we don't like them, we'll give you a proxy.
Yeah, we'll let you play it. Yeah,
And like, they were just like written out, but they were like officially written out. So I really like that. I didn't think that a lot of the shops that do tournament play would be okay with proxies. And I get it, because like, you want people to buy your product. So like, you want to sell people those big singles so that they enter the tournament. Like, it's business, but I've been surprised that like those tournaments, I've asked like a couple of people that like do the tournament proxies, and they're like, yeah, we really want people to buy our singles, but people come in, they pay for the tournament. We make a good enough amount for hosting. If a certain amount of people come, and those people come, and then all of a sudden we have 35 people in our shop all day that
all
buy
day,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, and it's like, if we have food or snacks, at the very least, we sell snacks. People will be kind of perusing our collection and buy stuff. Like, it's even though we're not selling the singles, we're getting the money either way. So like, it's been cool to see that like people are responsible. I mean, I've seen card shops where people are there every Friday night and every Saturday night, and they've never bought a thing, and they've been there every Friday and Saturday night for like 3 or 4 years, and like are proud of the fact that they've never supported the shop. So yeah.
I will say too that a lot of CEDH has very little to none support from WotC as far as like tournament strategizing.
Yeah.
And you're seeing a lot of these I call them titans of the industry now, like Lango and Excalibur. They're emerging.
I mean, even Play to Win hosts like quite a few.
Yeah, and
Playing with Power. Yeah.
Despite the little stuff, we're still growing.
Well, and the cool thing is, Magic, like Wizards of the Coast, have never been as involved in CDH as they have been lately.
Yeah.
And like, we're getting full, ban announcements with like actual reasoning, and like, they wanted to do the hybrid change, and the way that they announced it was basically, we're going to do it and it's cool. And everybody was like, no, that's stupid. And like, I did not expect them to listen. I felt like our recent ban announcement was going to be like, well, we said it would be cool and we're doing it anyway. And I was pleasantly surprised where they were like, you guys didn't like it, we'll always bring it up. It's something that has been brought up since Commander was a thing. However, you guys said that you didn't want it, so we're not going to. And I was just like, that's cool. I mean, I feel like they understand that it's like, yeah, this is not a format that we officially support being competitive, because there's problems with it. Like, when trading's a problem, people just sitting there and taking their sweet time to run out the clock is a problem. Draws are a problem. Unwinnable board states that force a draw even in finals is a problem. Like, there's a lot of problems. We have, as a community, has figured it out, and we love CDH even with all the flaws. And I think Magic, now that it's stayed around for a while, and they see that there are these 100-person tournaments where each person gave $100 to be there, I think they have gotten the respect that CDH deserves over the last 6 months.
Yeah, I'd say about a year, but
Yeah.
it's pretty close. 6 months
And
probably.
you know, I before I would feel like they were like, oh, we're gonna try to shut this format down, like it was never supposed to be played competitively. And now lately, I do kind of feel that they're like, oh, these guys like float the singles market. You know, like these guys are spending money. Like we're never gonna officially support it, but so many people have come out in support of it and for the love of the format will start managing the ban list. And also, while we're not going to officially run any tournaments, we might behind the scenes support, or you know, we'll start printing cards for this format that people like, which is really cool.
Well, they've had open discussions too.
Yeah.
So I've seen an open discussion, I believe, with Gavin, and Gavin was like, you know, at some point, if CEDH decides that, you know, our bans or our rulings are no longer um, helpful or useful, that they'll go to. They're always welcome to split.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about that. That would have been like a 30-minute thing whenever the commander CDH council just went, well, we're 3 people and you guys should listen to us. So we're going to decide what gets banned or not in this format. It's like, no one appointed y'all. Y'all just decided that you 3 dudes would decide how we play.
I mean, and you can see it in different, as far as different rulings across the world, like Japan being point-based difference, and I think the EU having a different
Yeah.
style. You know,
Yeah. Japan is basically like a ELO vampire system where you just get 10% of the points that your opponent's held. And it's interesting. I mean, there's still room to grow. Like we've definitely seen ties and seed order has become a problem now that more people are getting better at the game. We'll still go to tournaments where, you know, like you played at one 2 weeks ago where they were just like, yeah, we're getting kind of sleepy. We're just gonna cut to top 4. Y'all cool with that? Well, it doesn't matter because that's what we're doing. And then I recently went to a tournament where they were like, hey, we're tired of people tying, so when you get to time, you'll still have 20 minutes of overtime, but every other person gets to go in that 20 minutes to try to push a win out. And I was just like, what? Yeah, like we'll just go to tournaments and then they're like, we doing this today. You know?
it's interesting, and I get that you have to try stuff to,
Yeah.
to make it better, because obviously there's flaws with some of the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
But I do think that hopefully, if they do make those changes, they're based on some hard data and not just, I feel like.
One thing that I heard that I actually kind of like, I don't know if me and you have talked about this, but there's like a survey going around by one of our friends, but that friend is like kind of touched into what's going on in CDH. Like they really love CDH. And it was a survey basically that's like, out of these changes, what are you the most favorable of? And one of them was, in order to stop ties, you only get 1 to 2 points all day for ties. So like if you're the type of deck that you try to tie the game up, we're trying to dissuade that, because if you get 3 to 4 ties in a tournament, that's a deck construction play style issue. So you're allowed to get 1 point or 2 points from ties, and then after that you don't get any more. So like you could go to a table and be like, well, I have 6 points, and then someone's like, well, I have 5 points, but I think we should all tie. And then the 6-point person will be like, I already have a point. I can't get another point from tying. I want to play. And it'll force more games to play out rather than tie, which I think is kind of cool.
I've heard mention of that.
Yeah.
I've also heard one where player 4, if it ties, they get 5 points.
Oh, that's
which
poop. Yeah,
which is
I would be okay with 2 points, but I mean, then player 4 would just play for a tie. Like,
well, I mean, because a lot of times that's the best that player 4 can do.
well, then player 4 would specifically try to mess the game up. They wouldn't be playing for a win.
I mean, and maybe it's not 5, maybe it's 3.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
mean,
I'm saying?
still, anything more than 1. If I'm seat 4, I'm not trying to play for a tie. I'm just trying to play for. Trying to play for a tie because that's the most likely thing I'll get. Yeah. And then we're also kind of seeing that player 4 and 3 have the same win rate at this point too, which is kind of poop. I just like the idea of like, you tie a game, cool, you get a point. You tie a second game, shame on you. Like, you know, like you should be trying to win harder.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, we kind of went on a tangent, but yeah, I mean, thank you guys for the 2 years. I hope you guys appreciate the look ahead. It's growing, it's changing. I mean, every 2 weeks we have something new to talk about, whether it, be a set of 400 cards came out. Strixhaven's next. We'll be going to the Boil. If you're a fan of kind of people live tweeting their tournaments, I try to do that every time. I have a lot of fun with it. I usually play turbo decks, so I can do it. I can just take a picture and then we'll play a game, and then I can add in a couple things.
I'm pretty bad at it. I forget.
Well, you also usually go to like almost time, so you're usually like, let me get up, let me take care of myself. Oh, onto the next one, and
I gotta run to the bathroom.
yeah. And I'm like, well, I won real quick, so I'm gonna catch up with all my friends. I'm gonna look at some memes to make me happy. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Ooh, do they have snacks here? Let me go do that. Like,
Is there any singles?
yeah,
I've already checked everything.
yeah.
I'm just like, I gotta get some NXT.
Yeah, you're just like, I need to pee. Like, can I fit that in between rounds?
But no, we appreciate you guys a lot for listening, and hopefully we do it another, I don't know, however long.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, and we'll start fitting in some more spell table games. I personally have not played spell table since we played on Discord. So
when I do play on spell table, it's usually really quick.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got a free 30 minutes. I'm gonna play and then go to sleep.
Because we usually wait about 30 minutes for everybody to have a opportunity to join.
So shame on me. I probably should post it in too, and just to see. But
well, it's lame if we post it and we're like, all right, you guys have 5 minutes to like figure it out.
Yeah, that's
so like
true too.
we usually like try to give everybody at least 30 minutes to like see the message and stuff like that. I would like to do more planned ones, but our schedules are like
really funky,
wild. Right now. Yeah. But I mean, we still get them done. So thank you guys. I'm sure the outro music is playing me out. So we'll see you next time. Just remember, we do have a link tree. It has all of our stuff on it. If you want to support us directly, we do have Ko-Fi. That's a great way to do it. We try to give back to the podcast when we do get that money in. So is being used appropriately if you donate.
Most of my extra money goes to cards.
Yeah. I mean, cards is part of the podcast, but no, like we've leveled up the podcast quite a bit. And yeah, and just thank you guys. If you're listening on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on a podcast platform, please do what you can there. Leave a 5-star review if you enjoy us. Give us a thumbs up. Sometimes they allow you to leave comments. We do check those comments on the other platforms. Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support, and hopefully here's to another 2 years.
Thank you guys.
Bye.